Today we're going to look at 10 super fast estates that you can buy for under £15,000. Estates are my favourite cars you can actually get into. Let's get straight into it. Do hit like and subscribe for more videos like this. 72% of people watching right now are not subscribed. I'd appreciate it if you did. And 1,000 likes would do sub 10k instead. Let's get straight into it. Let's kick this video off with our first of two BMWs, the F11 535D Touring, which might even be the most practical car on the list, with great miles per gallon, great space for passengers and luggage, and of course, great performance. If you get yourself an M Sport model with a bunch of carbon M Performance parts in it, you're laughing, especially considering there was no F10 M5 Touring, which would have been insanely cool, a nice twin-turbo V8 estate. These instead come with the only diesel engine on the list, a 3-litre twin-turbocharged inline-6 that makes 308 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 5.3 seconds, and more importantly, it puts out 630 Nm of torque. The design on these is pretty cool too, as they seem to have done a good job of not looking too old, and their grills aren't ridiculously sized, meaning they're about the sweet spot for a lot of people. They'll run you around 9k at the bottom end, making it the cheapest car on the list, and 15 grand will get you a 2016 model with 95,000 miles on the clock. Thermostat issues, transmission fluid leaking, and suspension issues are known from models with air suspension. Next up we have the Volvo V60 HT6, which is another fast estate in a sea of historic Volvo super estates. It's from the second generation V60, which I do think is an underrated car in terms of looks, and ideally you'd like to get yourself a Polestar engineered example that means you get a bunch of performance tweaks plus a little more aggression with those looks, though for our price range you might struggle. You'll be getting the strangest powertrain on the list, a 2-litre turbo and supercharged inline-4 combining with electric power to produce 335 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Seems like Volvo just ticked yes to every powertrain box. The interiors on them are pretty nice too, very simple but with premium quality materials, though from a handling perspective I have heard owners complain a bit about them feeling boaty. 11.5 grand is the minimum you'll find these listed for, and £15,000 will get you a high mileage 2021 model. That engine wasn't massively known for reliability, hence the supercharger was dropped in other later models, as it was one of the key weak points, and given it's so complex it's not an easy one to DIY. The Seat Leon Koopra 300 ST is an absolute machine, as the Seat badged equivalent of the VW Golf R, which is a slightly more angular set of looks, is quite a bit more rare and remains a pretty rapid estate for the money. It replaced the 290 and came with basically the same options as the Golf R, manual or DSG, and some more or less premium interiors. It's not the most performant Leon, with the R being the top tier model, but for an estate this is about as good as you'll get. You'll get a more conventional engine one of these, a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 that makes 295 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 5 seconds, and it's all-wheel drive too. £14,000 is around the lowest I could find these for, and £15,000 is enough for a 2018 model with 50,000 miles on the clock. Clutches in manual examples and DSGs in autos are both known to cause problems if not maintained well, and there are some known cooling issues too associated with the water pump and thermostat housing. Now we have pretty much the same car but with a VW badge on it instead, the VW Golf R estate from the Mark 7 generation. I had the chance to drive the hatchback Mark 7.5 thanks to my friends at Motorland, and it was an absolute pleasure to drive, and honestly I think the Golf R formula actually makes a lot more sense as an estate given how simple and Golf-like the car feels. It's incredibly quick but doesn't feel that fast, which is a good thing of course, and when you drive it at slow speeds it's happy to cruise around too. It's not highly strung at all like some of its competitors. It shares the same powertrain as the Seat, a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 that makes 295 brake horsepower, and is 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, so ever so slightly quicker. These start at around the £11,000 mark, and £15,000 enough for a 2018 model with 80,000 miles on the clock. The reliability record is of course similar to the Seat. Some other points to note include issues with the Haldex all-wheel drive system and the infotainment system glitching. On to another BMW now, the F31 340i Touring. In the absence of there being an M3 Touring from this generation, the 340i was about as good as you could get outside of the diesel versions. It's the same story with the 535D Touring when it comes to getting one looking aggressive, but the 340i was more likely to come spec'd aggressively because it was the BMW that many current M3 Touring drivers would have bought, so it had to have sportier spec options from factory. Even though I think the E92 generation is better looking all in, I do also think the F31 is the better looking estate of the two generations, and the interior is also plenty modern enough if you're able to get a later model. These come with a 3-litre turbocharged inline-6 engine, making 321 brake horsepower horsepower, taking him to 60 in 4.9 seconds, which is pretty rapid when you consider the equivalent M3 gets to 60 in 4.1 seconds. They're listed anywhere from around £14,000 and £15,000 will get you a 2016 model that's done 100,000 miles. It's mainly suspension issues when you trawl through owners' forums, but there have also been owners that have suffered turbo, transmission and electrical failures on them. Broadly, it seems more reliable though than the 535D. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are, then do hit like and subscribe. As I said, 1,000 likes to do 10k instead, if it's even possible. And let me know in the comments down below what your personal favourite estate is. Now it's a bit of a controversial one, the Porsche Panamera 4S, which absolutely is a hatchback estate in my books, but for some reason sometimes it's classified as a saloon. Regardless, it's rapid and built with Porsche handling dynamics in mind, just with a bit more practicality. The Panamera came along to capitalise on the great success Porsche had been having with cars that weren't sports cars at their core. Remember that the Cayenne saved the business in the 90s and the Panamera continued that success. It was of course inspired by the 989 concept, which was effectively a 4-door 911, and that 911 handling is what was applied to the concept of the Panamera. You'll get yourself a 4.8 litre V8 engine that makes 394 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 4.8 seconds, which in Porsche terms makes this pretty good performance for the money. 10 grand is enough to get you into one of these, and 5k more than that will get you a 2010 model with 90,000 miles on it. Camshaft adjuster failures are known in these V8s, but the most issues I could find seem to be around the sensors or suspension. We're on to our first of two Audis now, with a car that I also got the chance to drive thanks to Motorland, the B7 Audi RS4. This car absolutely surprised me with how incredibly fun it was to drive, like a touring car for the roads with a silly engine and some seriously good handling and engagement. It's just analog enough while being modern enough that you're not worried about it turning on each morning. He's got a lovely 4.2 litre V8 engine that makes 414 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 4.7 seconds, and that performance feels completely manageable when you're pushing one. They were produced for only a few years, so around 10,000 were built total, and long term it could end up being a bit of a classic given the prestige of an RS badge and the slightly more limited numbers than other RS cars. They'll run you around 12k at the bottom end, and 15k is enough for a high mileage 2008 model. Carbon build-up, timing chain tensioner issues and dynamic ride control issues are known on these, and fuel pump problems have also been reported. Just like the BMWs and Audis on this list, I've got two Mercedes for you. The first being this, the E63 AMG from the W211 generation. This car looks stunning. I would genuinely have it over the equivalent C63s and of course the E63 Saloon, because it just has properly beastie vibes. They get arguably the best sounding European V8 ever, the 6.2 litre V8 to be exact, that makes 506 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 4.5 seconds, making it the quickest rear wheel drive car on the list. It took over from the E55 AMG with the mid-generation refresh and was built to compete with the E61 M5 and C6 RS6. It got some majorly cool AMG tuned air suspension, so you can cruise quite comfortably in them like a luxury car, or stiffen the car up to be a bit of a weapon. These start at around £13,000 and 15k gets you a high mileage 2008 example. They are known for engine and transmission issues, but more importantly, rust. It came during a time when Mercedes had been criticised for letting their standards fall, and so in some cases owners have suffered from rust rearing its ugly head. I also recently had the chance to drive the C7 Audi RS6, again thanks to Motorland, and what a machine it was. It almost scared me how ludicrously quick it was. And its predecessor is available within our price range, the RS6 C6, which is probably the coolest engine you'll ever see in an RS6. It's a 5 litre twin turbocharged V10 block in this that makes 571 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 4.4 seconds with that lovely V10 soundtrack. This RS6 competed with the following W212 generation E63 as well as that same M5, but interestingly both of those cars had naturally aspirated engines versus the turbos that propelled this beast. And if you're able to spend a bit beyond our price range, you'll get an even more ridiculous RS6 in the Plus model, with a bit of extra power and the removal of the speed limiter, letting these hit 188 miles per hour. They'll only start at a hair under our 15k limit, so for 15k we'll be looking at a 2008 example with high mileage. The engine can be costly to fix, with oil leaks being probably the most common issue from all sorts of places like the valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets and turbocharger seals. I promised two Mercedes, and here's the second one. Taking the top spot on this list, the first generation CLA45 AMG. It's actually a shooting brake, but that's close enough to an estate in my books. It's effectively an A45 AMG with the same engine, chassis and all the rest, just with either shooting brake or saloon style looks. I think the shooting brake is definitely the better looking model, but either way, as someone who's driven an A45, they are very quick. They come with a 2 litre turbocharged inline-4 engine that makes 375 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 4.1 seconds, which is serious performance for an elongated hot hatch. much. The main thing that let the A45 down for me was the interior quality feeling a bit cheap, but outside of that, these cars do drive well, and they are a step above so many other performance cars in pace, as is clearly shown by this list. £14,500 is the minimum that I can find these listed for, and 15k gets you a 2016 example with high mileage. Turbo issues due to a lack of an anti-surge valve are the most common issue with these, and the DCT has also caused some problems for owners. So there you have it, 10 fast estates for under 15 grand. I hope you enjoyed. Do hit like and subscribe if you did. Thanks to patrons, thanks to you guys as well for watching. Click on screen to watch me drive a ridiculously fast estate.